Ken Jennings with Mark and Dave, the Jeopardy champ. And Ken, welcome to the show after 74 games and $2.5 million. Do you have any of that money left?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Keep a $2 bill in my wallet just for good luck. That's the last of it.
Was it good luck? Were you surprised that you did that well on that show?
I was super surprised. I mean, I grew up watching it every day as a kid. I was an obsessive Jeopardy fan. But my goal was just, like, on the first show, not to be one of those guys who has the negative amount so he gets booted before the end. Like, I figured as long as I don't get humiliated like that, I'm good.
When did you realize you were on a roll?
Well, they shoot 5 in a day. So, we had flown down to L.A. for a couple days, and at the end of that, I had already won 8 shows, which was a record. So 24 hours later, I'm already the all-time record holder. So, like, suddenly, it was too fast to even realize what was going on. It was insane.
Were you in a zone? Athletes talk about being in a zone. I don't know if, forgive the term, but geeks get into zones. But were you in a zone? Were you in a knowledge zone?
It does happen, I'd find that I would definitely have the thing where... an athlete say this too. The less I thought about it, the better I would be on the buzzer, and the more the answers would just seem to come to mind. So yeah, there's definitely a zone. And again, it's totally unfair because the longer you're on there, they keep bringing in fresh meat, and you've got months of experience. So not really a level playing field.
I don't think you ever hear Jeopardy champions refer to fresh meat.
Fresh meat, but, but on the other hand, when it ended, was that surreal too?
The thing that surprised me about that loss was just how relieved I felt. Like I was sort of thinking I'd be crushed, and it was just like, oh, thank goodness, now I know how it ends. I remember the next day actually feeling a little bummed, like, man, I don't get to go hang out at Jeopardy anymore. Do
you remember the question, or do you remember the one that did you in? Oh yeah,
everyone always remembers the one that gets you. It's like the bullet with your name on it.
What was it?
The bullet said H&R Block in my case. It was about a company, a company most of whose white-collar employees only work a few months out of the year.
Oh, that's the easiest question.
What is H&R Block?
Well, yeah, how did you guys know that?
Yeah.
How did you guys know this question from 7 years ago that I just said the answer to? You guys are great.
Well, at least you're not bitter. Well, how did it change your life, though? You were working in Salt Lake City. You're now up in Seattle, wife, 2 kids. But how did it change your life?
It didn't change the stuff that matters. I guess the main thing is I was an unhappy computer programmer at the time. I had been like a frustrated English major in college, but I guess I always heard, the joke I heard was, what's the difference between a pizza and an English major? At least the pizza can feed a family of 4. So, I sold out. I went into computers, but thanks to Jeopardy, I actually had a chance to do what I really liked, which is to write. So now I'm a full-time freelance writer. I work from home. I get to see more of the kids. So thank you, Alex Trebek.
And only Ken Jennings could write a book about maps.
Maps and map nerds, yes.
Map nerd. What is a map nerd?
I think I'm a map nerd, so what
really?
You see right in front of you here, you're shocked to hear this.
You told me earlier that you've been kind of a geek map nerd all your life.
Yeah, even as a little kid, and the funny thing is, I think for most people, maps are a source of, frustration or confusion. We associate them with getting lost and not being able to refold them and get them back in the glove box. But the true sign of a map geek, this is somebody who will look at a map for pleasure, who can just look at a map for hours, even if they're never going to go to that place, because there's something beautiful about them.
Oh, my goodness. Google Maps, you must just be on overload, sensory overload. With that.
It's like internet porn,
Google,
isn't it?
Google, I was going to say, Google Earth is like porn in our house, like that. Oh, the deep walls of the Grand Canyon. Yeah, baby.
Mariana's Trench. Wow.
So deep.
All right, well, when you look at a map, what do you see?
I think one thing a lot of these map people I talked to had in common, that they were natural explorers. They're adventurers. They look at a map and they want to project themselves into it. They can imagine themselves climbing those mountains or wandering across that ice shelf or rafting down that river. It's like an adventure. It's like a story. They see the story in it.
Now, since Jeopardy, and you've written a few books, and you still have a strong popularity, and that's got to be just a credit to your personality and the story. So I imagine you get a lot of offers. What kind of offers have you received that you've turned down?
It's funny. Now that everybody can be famous for 15 minutes, you do get a bunch of crazy mail for a few weeks. I remember my address and phone number were not listed, but there was another Ken Jennings in Salt Lake. So the poor guy would just get all my junk mail and phone calls in the middle of the night, and he'd pass it along to me with a sort of eyelid twitching and rage. But it was crazy. It was people just wanting me to invest in. I remember some guy said he's got this great idea for a jigsaw puzzle, but it's only got 3 pieces. And somebody else had a cable TV channel, but it's about Africa. Everybody's got some great idea, and I just need to write them some seven-figure check. And
How long did you consider the three-piece jigsaw puzzle?
I don't know. That was about 3 seconds, I guess. 1 second per piece.
And as far as like job offers, though, were you given job offers afterwards? Did people want Ken Jennings as their guy?
The funny thing is, because the final question was H&R Block and I said FedEx, the funny thing is I actually did get I got to do promotional stuff for H&R Block and FedEx. So if you're going to lose on Jeopardy, go out on the corporate question, if you lose on what is Uzbekistan, you're not going to see a dime.
No payday coming
That's
from
right,
that.
nothing.
Are maps per se, will people unfold maps anymore?
I don't know. I sort of think maps might be done in the way we think of them, which is funny because they've got 500 years. Paper maps have 500 years of
AAA is
history.
going to go out of business.
I know. Think about the gas station maps they used to have. Now it's just gone.
Are they collector's items? Should I hold on to them and sell them on eBay someday?
Oh, yeah. People do collect them.
Are devices and I don't want Mark Mason to nut up here, but are devices like GPS making people dumber when it comes to geography and just getting around?
I sort of feel like there's two competing things there. There's Google Earth making maps seem actually pretty cool and sexy for the first time, and then on the other hand, there's maybe I'm pushing that.
You're going
then
back.
There's GPS,
calm down just a bit.
which, like you're saying, makes us dumber. Because we don't even have to think about where we are. We just obey the mechanical voice on our dashboard.
As evidenced by people who drive into rivers, when the GPS is wrong.
Exactly. You can't just turn off your brain. You got to know where you are at all times. So I'm sort of a fan of turning off the mechanical voice from time to time. Maybe one day a week. The old-fashioned Sunday drive. Turn off your GPS one day a week.
So this new book, it's not just a book of maps. It's not like Ken's favorite map, but there's a lot of story in there, and it's really funny. If the book could be funny about maps, I mean, you've gotten there.
I hope so. To me, the fun comes from the people, because I hang out with all these sort of, I don't want to say weirdos, but eccentrics who.
You're the grand poobah. Keep going.
I guess I would know, right? Eccentrics who have these sort of weird map-related hobbies, and just sort of see what makes them tick, and it's sort of endearing just how much they love whatever their thing is. The guy who wants to go to every Denny's in the world, or the person who's obsessed with the interstate highway system, or the guy who's found 100,000 geocaches or whatever. I mean, it's a great little portrait of obsession.
Well, you were at the geography beat, and you were jealous of one of the contestants. Why?
I was jealous of all of the contestants. I guess the one that I mentioned in the book is the person who won, and Alex Trebek hosts the Bee every year, and I guess in her case, he had signaled her that. He had looked at her answer and her opponent's answer in the finals, and once he saw that she was right, he gave her a little wink. And I was shocked. I mean, Trebek's cheating on me. That guy, I knew that guy for 6 months, and he never once winked at me to tell me I was right or wrong. So I sort of felt like Trebek had a new favorite.
How much therapy after Jeopardy did you go through? When you look back, the very best thing about it, besides the money.
Oh, the money, it wasn't it at all. It was just the game, love of the game. I used to skip school as a kid to watch game shows because I loved them so damn much. And now here I was playing, the fastest paced, highest pressure game against the smartest people they could find, for big money on national TV. It was addictive. To this day, I'm still addicted to the adrenaline. I'd go back if there was no cash at all. I'd go play for Arby's coupons.
Yep, Dave felt the same way about Card Sharks, by the way. So
he told me he loves Card Sharks. It's a good show.
I do love Card Sharks.
Powell, Cedar Hills tonight, right?
Tonight at 7.
All right, and you'll be. Have you picked the chapter you're going to read?
There's a part about funny place names that I like to read, but I leave out the part about Dildo, Newfoundland, because I don't know if there's going to be kids.
Great,
there.
I'm glad you included it on our show. So.
Dildo, Newfoundland. That's where Mark was born.
It's a real place. They refuse to change the name.
What's the shape of that city? Well, never mind. Cedar Hills tonight, pals. Thanks for coming by.
It was a pleasure. Thanks, guys.